Welcome to this week's episode of LdnOnt TV here on Rogers TV. I am your host, Bronagh Morgan, and as always, it's a pleasure to host a show where I get to talk to Londoners who are doing everything they can to support people in our community, highlighting great organizations which are doing great work in our community, and here is just another example. My guest today is Jennifer Martino. Jennifer is the Executive Director of the Crouch Neighbourhood Resource Centre, which is located in the Crouch Branch Library, London Public Library, which is in the heart of Hamilton Road, right across the street from one of my favorite places to work, because you know I work a lot of places, but one of my favorite, well, I guess they're all my favorite, is the Hamilton Road Seniors and Community Center where I teach art. So love this whole part of the city, fantastic, vibrant community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and right in the neighborhood.
Right, I know. So here we are, talking about things that people in London are talking about, because that's what this show is all about. That's why it's called LdnOnt TV. We just had a lot of elections recently, and hopefully that's the last one for a while. It's our municipal election. What everybody has been talking about, top of mind, is a lot of pretty serious social issues right now. We're dealing with the fact that there are a lot of people who can't afford homes. There just is a lack of affordable housing all over our community in particular and across the country. Food insecurity is another one. A lot of these issues came up, I know, when I was hosting debates or when we were talking on election night. So these are issues, obviously, that so important to the entire city, but particularly the community that is served. So talk to me about the resource center and what you're seeing.
Yeah, food insecurity isn't new to our community. And we've had people struggling with getting access not just to any foods, but to nutritious foods and culturally appropriate foods for a very long time, especially in the Hamilton Road neighborhood, where the average income level is 27% lower than the city as a whole. I'm not sure how familiar people are with those statistics, but and I myself, as a young person who grew up in the subsidized housing system, London public housing, I'm in the Bully complex actually, and my family visited the food bank regularly. So food insecurity is something that I've known my whole life, and it's an issue that I'm really passionate about for that reason. And we found that people were using the community food cupboard at Crouch frequently before the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, it just exacerbated those pre-existing food insecurity issues. And I think something that was unique from the pandemic was that it brought food insecurity to the minds of all people in our country, because suddenly we were all a little bit insecure. You couldn't just walk into any grocery store you want and buy whatever you want. But if you think about the people who couldn't use Instant Cart, who couldn't do curbside pickup, who didn't have the money to be going to take a car to a grocery store and to wait in those long lines and to pay off some of the higher prices that we were seeing, then they were really relying on the food supports that the community could provide. And our community did a great job of coming together, of partnering, of addressing those needs. And Crouch started a kind of a porch drop-off program with hampers on a weekly basis, and at one point we were serving over 200 homes with Glencairn Community Resource Centre, and Youth for Christ helped us out as well. And now, to some extent, we talk about being back to normal and that we're trying to emerge from this pandemic. But what we're finding at the resource center is that we're actually seeing an ever increasing number of people looking for food supports. And I know the London Food Bank has recently reported the same thing. We're serving over 200 people every single week. And they have multiple needs. Food security is one, but also things like winter wear, and then just help accessing social benefits. There are different programs coming out with the government all the time, but if you don't file your taxes, then you aren't eligible for any of those things. So we've found that unfortunately the need for the basic needs services and the advocacy and things like applications, but really just getting through the day-to-day is what we've had to focus on now more than ever.
Absolutely. So it sounds like there are a lot of different aspects to what the resource center offers. So you talked about is it the food cupboard?
Yes, we have a community food cupboard.
All right. On top of that, you're offering, so potentially people can come in and find winter clothing. and help with filling out paperwork maybe, or?
Yes, so if they want to apply for something like the Ontario Disability Support Program, apply for Ontario Works, or even if they're having any trouble with their housing situation, maybe they need some advocacy with their landlord or they're facing an eviction. And there are various things that our community outreach worker can assist with. But something that I'm really proud of is our free income tax filing program. And last year we helped over 10,000 people file their income taxes, many of whom had years of backlog of taxes. And it can be very intimidating. If you're not sure if you're going to owe, often you don't file, but what some people don't realize is that it also means that you're ineligible for all of the benefits that are available for all of us, but especially people who have lower incomes in our community. And that is a program run by volunteers who are all registered. They're chartered accountants, but they've since retired, and they're registered with the CRA. And so they, last year through Crouch, were able to serve, I think it was 10,500 people getting their income tax filed. And I wish that we could quantify the benefits that go to those people as a result. But I know that a lot of people left really relieved that they had that support and that they were able to get things like their guaranteed income supplement if they were a senior, because that kind of thing makes a huge difference to your survival on a month-to-month basis.
Absolutely. So let's say I am maybe a retired person that would like to volunteer. Do these volunteers come in through CRA, or how does somebody like reach out to want to support the work that you're doing?
Yes, there is a coordinator of the program, and she was the treasurer of Crouch for 6 years until her term was done. Her name is Diane McMillan, and she is the best person to get in contact with. But if people would like to volunteer, they can do so by going to the CRA website, and if they just look up Free Income Tax Clinic, then they will find her name and her contact information. And she is looking for qualified volunteers. It's a lot of work to process that many applications, and so having committed people who have even just a little bit of financial knowledge, even if that wasn't their full-time thing, who would like to help people. I mean, I can't imagine a volunteer role that can have a greater impact than that one.
Absolutely. And it's not tax time right now, but this is something that happens on an ongoing basis?
Yes, we can help people all year filing their income taxes, but there is especially a need for volunteers at tax time, of course.
Absolutely. And then other ways that we can support as community members. Where's the source of food for the food cupboard?
Well, we have, depends. So we do have to purchase food to fill our cupboard. There are some items that are very popular, the things that people need that are just the staples. So they're the kind of things that you would think of, like tuna, for example. And then sometimes we get grants that allow us to do additional things, such as provide dairy and protein. So Libro just gave us a $10,000 grant to be able to provide those things for our cupboard. And that's something that we just can't afford to do if we don't have that additional support. But then we also have partnerships with groups like Urban Roots, who, when their produce is in season, they bring fresh produce to us every single week. It doesn't cost us anything, and we're able to get it out to the community. And in this last year, United Way funded us to be able to offer a pop-up market every week so that people get access to fresh produce. And then we also work with the London Food Coalition to pick up things from places like Costco that they're not able to sell anymore, but they want to make sure go into the community. So it really does take a community effort and as many different sources as we can find. And we also have a partnership with the London Food Bank, and they often call and say, we have a whole skid of this, and we know it's something that you guys use often. Would you like it? And we always say yes. And I think what's really important, though, is keeping in mind that people who can't afford to buy their own groceries still need certain sorts of foods. And so there is kind of an idea that when people are food insecure, we go into our cupboards and whatever we're not eating, that's what we're going to donate. And I think that's really well intentioned. But if you think about people who are living in boarding houses, who are experiencing homelessness, food preparation can be very difficult, and that's why we focus on things that are easy to eat without a lot of preparation. And then also we need to think about not just food security, but also nutrition equity, because eating one thing is not the same as eating another. And it's amazing, most of the requests that we get are for fresh fruits and vegetables, not the kind of the snack foods that we sometimes think of. And so that's why we are very careful to make sure that what we're offering people will not just fill them, but also let them feel better because they physically feel well, but also they know that somebody really cares about their nutritional needs, their cultural needs, and cares about them as a person, because we all want to eat well.
Absolutely. Oh, and like it's coming across that you're somebody who cares. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more, but I do have to take a break. But you're going to stay with us for another segment, because I want to hear more. And I also want to hear more about how those of us in the community can maybe support the great work that you're doing with the Crouch Neighbourhood Resource Centre in the Hamilton Road community. So please stay with us. We'll be right back with more LDNOnt TV.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas you can't see, smell, or taste.
Homes with fuel-burning appliances and/or attached garages must have working CO alarms installed outside all sleeping areas.
Don't let the silent killer get you. Install working CO alarms today.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
I don't care what the law is. I will never be a slave. That word, I hate it. It rests on my tongue like rot.
Peter, how does it feel to get paid for your work?
There are rumors freedom's coming for us all.
Freedom, you know that's all I want.
Chloe, careful. Real men would rather sell you across the river to America than let you go free.
Then I'll run.
I've run before. Maybe this time for good.
No! No! Just get her into a boat. No!
Chloe? Chloe, no!
Word of Chloe Cooley's resistance led to Canada's first legislation limiting slavery. After 200 years, slavery was abolished in Canada in 1834.
This is Rogers TV.
Welcome back to LdnOnt TV here on Rogers TV. I'm your host, Bronagh. I've been speaking with Jennifer from Crouch Neighbourhood Resource Centre, located in the Crouch Library, which is located on Hamilton Road, which, as Jennifer was mentioning, is a neighborhood where there's a lot of need. And so we've talked about the need for healthy food and how it should be specific, it should be healthy food, it should be, appropriate for the individual. And that's, I think, it's a question not only of just keeping people healthy, but it's dignity as well. It's respecting the person as an individual and the families as individual families, because every family will have different kinds of needs. But there's also need for clothing and need for financial support, I think, for the work you do as well. So talk to me about other ways that the community can come together and support the work that you're doing.
Yeah. What we find at this time of year is that there is a huge need to keep people warm. And it's not just people experiencing homelessness. There are also people whose housing situations mean that it's not a great place for them to be all day long. And they spend a lot of time, different community spaces, they spend a lot of time outside. And that's especially true in the Hamilton Road neighborhood, where there are a lot of boarding houses and people just renting individual rooms. But all of us need to be warm. It just started snowing and we're all feeling that initial chill. And, most of us are fortunate to have a winter jacket in our closet from past seasons, but that's not the case for all of the community members. And so we started our winter wear program this year, just a few weeks ago. We've already served 110 people with winter coats and boots, and we have run out of funding for that program. We have 50 people on the wait list so far, and we've actually closed off the wait list at this point until we're able to secure funding. But it would be really great to have the community help us support community members who really need our help the most. And last year when we did our winter coat and boot campaign, we found that community members kept coming back in to say, hey, do you recognize this coat? Do you recognize these boots? You guys gave me this and it still looks good and I get compliments on it. And when we think back to that dignity piece, it can be difficult for everyone in our community right now to make a dollar stretch, and I'm very, very well aware of that regardless of our circumstances. But there's something really beautiful about giving someone a new coat, new pair of boots that actually fit them properly and that they can be proud of when they're walking around, and most importantly, that keep them warm and dry. Because we need to be fed, but if we're cold, it's really, really hard to get through the winter.
Oh yeah, yeah, that can make you, well, it's not just grumpy, like that can be fatal. Like this is one of we live in Canada, so yeah, these are vital needs. So new coats, new boots. How about financial donations?
Yes, so we have a campaign coming up very shortly called our Warm Winter Wishes campaign, and so we will be asking people to support us, especially on Giving Tuesday. This will be our first ever Giving Tuesday campaign that people can look out for.
And Giving Tuesday is?
It is a day that lots of different organizations will be promoting the work that they do and asking community members to support them. It comes up on the 29th of November. And so we'll have things out on our different social media sources about how to support that way. But throughout this whole month, we would love for people to extend a warm winter wish to a community member. We have various ways of doing that. So one of them is to be able to sponsor a community member to have a warm pair of mitts, or also to have a pair of boots, or to have a coat. And so we'll have different options that you can select through our website. But the other thing is that on December 10th, we're having a community-wide kind of celebration of all of the great things about the Hamilton Road community, because often we focus on the need, but there is such a strong community there. And you know that because you're in our community.
Absolutely.
And this summer we had a block party where 800 people came out to spend time with their neighbors, and I know it was
incredible. Like, it was one of the first really big events that I had been to, in the last couple of years. And the way the community came together, so vibrant, so friendly, and so many things going on. So many different businesses were involved, so much music, so much, I don't know, joy. Like, it's just such a wonderful part of London to be involved with.
Yes, and we actually did a survey of community members at that block party, and we asked them how they feel about their neighborhood. And one of the things they said was that it's a neighborhood where they feel that they belong and they don't want to live anywhere else. And that might be counterintuitive for some, but if you think about the fact that there are resources there, your community's there, people who support each other are there. And so on December 10th, we will have various holiday window murals throughout various businesses in Hamilton Road. We're looking at 10 different sites, and where will be a surprise. We'll be releasing those one at a time. So we want people to also get to know the small businesses. There are 144 independent businesses on that strip in our community. So it's super unique. Wonderful people who own those businesses. And then also in front of the Crouch Library, we will be free holiday family photos to community members, because that's something that really, especially with our economic situation right now, is a privilege for anyone to be able to do. But we know that a lot of families in our neighborhood wouldn't be able to get those done otherwise. And so somebody from the neighborhood who is a professional photographer will be coming and taking those photos for families. And so we would like people to extend warm winter wishes by making a note on a pair of red mittens that you'll be able to put throughout the library, and just let people in the community know what you love about our community, or just tell them that you hope that things go well for them this season. And if you have the ability to do something financially beyond extending those warm wishes, then I would really encourage people to either go to our website, which is crouchnrc.org, or they can look for us on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter. And throughout the month, we'll be giving lots of opportunities to get things to people that they really need, such as that warm winter wear. And then also we have things like our Christmas hampers and various ways that we keep people warm and well.
How do you accomplish it sounds like a huge job. So what does a day look like for you, Jennifer? My goodness.
Oh boy. Yes. Well, it is a big job, but what I love about our Neighbourhood Resource Centre is that neighbourhoods need all kinds of things, because people are complex, neighbourhoods are complex, and I love community building, But having been in need myself and with my family for basic needs, I also really understand that people need things like food and like clothing and like shelter, of course, to be well, but they also need art and culture. They need recreation. They need opportunities to get together and to be inspired, and also to share what their unique talents are. In the summer, we had, with the London Art Council, live music every single week at our hot meal program, and people would stop by who we've known for years coming to our hot meal, but they'd say, "Did you know that I'm a songwriter? I've always wanted to learn the guitar. Did you know that I sing?" And the feedback that we got about incorporating music with a basic needs activity was phenomenal, and it's something that we're really committed to continuing.
Fantastic. So I can't wait to see what's next. I'm excited to be involved because I'm doing art with seniors right across the street at Hamilton Road every Tuesday, every Wednesday morning, just being back in that community. So many diverse businesses, so many fascinating people, and I hear the same thing from my students all the time. I would never want to go anywhere else. So viewers, if you're not a part of the Hamilton Road community, you've got to get down and participate because it's welcoming too, right? So I can come from High Park.
Oh, of course. Yes, everybody's welcome at our events. And I forgot to mention that on December 10th, we're not just taking family photos, but we also have live music. We will have different performers singing holiday songs, and there may be a few surprises throughout the neighborhood as well. So we would encourage anyone who would like to come down and maybe just learn about a new neighborhood, and especially if you're hungry, coming to Hamilton Road and going to a restaurant like Casa Cubana. Where else are you going to get authentic Cuban food like that? Hamilton Road is the place to be. So come and check it out, and you might discover something that really surprises you and keeps you coming back.
Well, I'm excited. So viewers, Hamilton Road, be there. Be a part of the community all year round, but especially in this next month coming up, because there's a lot of fascinating and really fun things going on in the area. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. We're going to have to take another break, but we do have a little bit more LdnOnt TV after this, so please stay with us.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Did you have fun? Check this out. It's nice, right?
Night's action on Rogers TV.
I'm Jennifer Slay, the host of What's Up London. Join me each week as I meet Londoners who are doing extraordinary things and helping to make the city a better place to live. Watch What's Up London Mondays only on Rogers TV.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back to LdnOnt TV. We've been speaking to Jennifer from Crouch Neighbourhood Resource Centre, and now we're fortunate to have Gonzalo, who is a Fanshawe student, as well as a volunteer, co-op student, I believe, at the Resource Centre. So tell me about yourself.
Well, so basically the story is that when I moved here, I gave up to the idea of continuing my education in my country, because I barely finished high school back then, only to find out that I could finish English grade 12 here and start college. It was as simple as that, but to me, without the information, it meant like a whole, it was a long road to me until I found out about it. And as soon as I started working or studying social service work, I found out that there were a lot of people in the Latino community who didn't know about this opportunity as well, and they were giving up to that idea as well. People who came here with lawyer degrees or nursing degrees that they didn't know they could recognize their credentials here.
Really?
To me, it was inspiring to know about that, to start social service work and help that Latino community to achieve this, at least the information, right, to start on.
So what kind of work are you doing with the Neighborhood Resource Centre?
Well, at Crouch, right now I'm doing my placement, right? So pretty much I started from the front desk because I had like prior experience at Luso, which is another community center here in London, with the database use and all that stuff. So I had some experience also working with clients, with newcomers and also locals, right, from London. So I started from there, then I started working with other co-workers, with like outreach workers, or to learn more about what they do and how can I replicate that action plan, right, to my future clients.
Right, and what do you love about working at the Resource Centre?
Well, pretty much the experience that it gave me, the new insight about the city, a part of the city that I didn't know at all. I live more in the northeast side of London, and I had no idea there were so many people in need of like basic needs, such as like food, clothing, or even information, right? Like as I told you about the continuing education opportunities, right now Crouch has a huge Latino population that access the food bank and all. I believe that's a port of entry for us to give them more information about what they can do, other than just finding better jobs or like just giving up to the idea of continuing education, right? So yeah, pretty much that's what I love about this job. That is, we are the port of entry for that information for clients. And
wonderful. And I guess you're going to be at some of these awesome events coming up for the month of December and going forward as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to be in all of them, because it's not only about going there and doing my 24 hours of placement weekly and just disappearing after. Of course, there's a lot of clients who get engaged with us or like get familiar to my face, or we getting along and they just want to, you know, they ask me like, hey, where you been, like in that other event that you were in, right? So I can tell that they get engaged with us in some other ways that are not only like the front desk type of relationship.
Fantastic. So relationships is what it's all about. So viewers, if you're going to be in Hamilton Road area next few weeks coming up and any time of year, maybe you'll run into Gonzalo, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being with us today. Great community to be a part of, and I'm so glad that you were able to hear more about it today. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you have a great week and you tune in again next week for more LdnOnt TV.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
It isn't the heavy trays that make the job difficult, or the fast pace you need to keep up. It's not working another double because someone called in sick. What makes the job tough is the moment you realize a customer has had enough and you have to make that decision not to overserve. Refusing service isn't personal, it's the law. We know it's not easy, but we're counting on you to keep us all safe. Thank you, servers, for doing the tough job.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard.